A 67-year-old man woke up on a Tuesday morning feeling absolutely fine. He stretched, got out of bed, and did something so completely normal, so seemingly harmless, that millions of us do it every single day without a second thought. 20 minutes later, his wife was frantically dialing 911. He was experiencing a massive, silent heart attack right there in his own bedroom, shortly after waking up. We are constantly led to believe that cardiovascular disasters only strike after decades of extreme neglect, or perhaps during heavy physical exertion like shoveling snow. But the harsh reality I see inside the emergency room paints a completely different picture. The most dangerous moments for your heart often involve trivial daily habits that act as a sudden, invisible trigger, especially once you cross the age of 60. You go to sleep feeling perfectly safe, hoping to wake up refreshed, entirely unaware of the silent threat waiting in those first few moments of your day. This is not about eating a greasy breakfast. It is not about skipping a medication dose. It is a simple mechanical action that spikes your blood pressure so violently and so rapidly that an aging heart simply cannot compensate for the sudden demand. I have witnessed the devastating, life-altering aftermath of this single morning mistake far too many times to remain quiet about it. You might have done it today, and you're likely planning to do it tomorrow. But once you understand exactly what this action does to the delicate vessels inside your chest, you will never start your day the same way again. My name is Dr. Marcus Caldwell. I am a cardiothoracic surgeon, and for over a decade, I have stood on the front lines of the operating room. I have literally held human hearts beating in my own hands, fighting to repair the damage that could have easily been prevented. I am stepping in front of this camera because I am exhausted by the current medical system. A system that limits my time with you to a rushed 7-minute consultation, leaving absolutely no room to discuss the vital daily habits that actually save lives. If you are tired of being treated like just another number on a hospital chart and want the unfiltered truth about protecting your independence, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell. Share this video with a spouse or a friend over the age of 60 who you care about deeply. We need to build a community of empowered individuals, because the truth about why that man's heart failed him that morning is something the traditional guidelines have completely overlooked. We are constantly told that managing heart health after 60 is simply a matter of swallowing a tiny white pill with our morning coffee. The standard medical guidelines heavily prioritize pharmaceutical intervention above almost everything else. They quickly check your lab numbers, write a prescription, and send you out the door to make room for the next patient. But they completely ignore the sheer physical and mechanical shock your body goes through when transitioning from a state of deep sleep to active wakefulness. You have been conditioned to believe that as long as your cholesterol is artificially lowered by a statin and your blood pressure is suppressed by a beta blocker, you are entirely safe from a sudden cardiac event. This is a remarkably dangerous oversimplification. The real threat is not just what is floating around in your bloodstream. It is the sudden, violent shifts in vascular pressure caused by seemingly innocent everyday habits that the medical establishment simply does not have the time or the financial incentive to explain to you during a rushed appointment. They are trained to treat the numbers on a piece of paper, entirely forgetting the delicate human being waking up in that bedroom. If you have been starting your mornings feeling dizzy, experiencing a sudden racing heart, or feeling a strange tightness in your chest and you assumed it was just a normal part of getting older, I need you to hear me loud and clear. It is not your fault. You have done absolutely everything right. You took the medications prescribed to you, you tried your best to cut back on salt, and you showed up faithfully for your annual checkups. You were doing your absolute best with the deeply incomplete information you were handed. You trusted a framework that is fundamentally designed to manage sickness rather than optimize your daily biological resilience. Do not carry an ounce of guilt for a medical blind spot you could not possibly have known existed. The simple fact that you are listening right now proves you are ready to take control of your independence. We are going to bridge this critical knowledge gap right now, because understanding the precise biological chaos happening inside your chest during those crucial first minutes of the day is the exact key to keeping your heart beating strong. Let us talk about what actually happens inside your chest when the sun comes up. When you are asleep, your body enters a profound state of biological conservation. Your heart rate plummets. Your breathing slows down to a gentle, rhythmic, and incredibly shallow pace. Your core temperature drops slightly, and your blood pressure falls to its absolute lowest point in the entire 24-hour cycle. Your circulatory system is effectively at rest, repairing tissues and clearing out cellular debris. But the very moment your eyes flutter open, an invisible, highly potent physiological alarm bell rings deep inside your brain. Your autonomic nervous system abruptly shifts gears, moving rapidly from a state of deep, restorative rest into full, demanding alertness. Now, if you are 20 or 30 years old, your body handles this transition seamlessly. The biological shock absorbers are fully functional. But when you cross the age of 60, the biology of your vascular system has fundamentally changed. The vessels carrying life-giving oxygen to your heart muscle and your brain have naturally lost some of their youthful elasticity. Furthermore, after 8 straight hours of sleep, your body is in a state of mild, chronic dehydration. You have been exhaling moisture all night with every breath, and you have not consumed a single drop of water for a third of the day. This simple, unavoidable fact means your blood is physically thicker in the morning. It is more viscous. It is sluggish, heavy, and much harder to move. So, what happens when you suddenly throw off the covers, swing your legs over the edge of your bed, and stand up quickly to start your day? Or perhaps your alarm clock startles you, the dog barks, and you bolt upright in a matter of seconds. In that microscopic fraction of time, gravity violently pulls a massive volume of your heavy, dehydrated blood down into your legs and your abdomen. Your brain immediately senses a rapid, terrifying drop in blood pressure and perceives a threat to its oxygen supply. To prevent you from collapsing on the bedroom floor, your central nervous system triggers an absolute biological emergency. It dumps a massive, highly concentrated wave of adrenaline and cortisol directly into your bloodstream to force the pressure back up. This violent chemical flood forces your heart to beat rapidly and aggressively. But remember the environment we just discussed. Your heart is now trying to pump thick, dehydrated, sludge-like blood through vessels that are stiffer and far less forgiving than they used to be. The sheer mechanical force required to push that thick volume of blood upwards against gravity is astronomical. I have looked at these hearts closely in the operating room. I have seen the microscopic damage, the wear and tear caused by these sudden, brutal spikes in pressure over the years. The heart muscle demands an instant, massive surge of oxygen to perform this heavy lifting, but the stiffened, narrow coronary vessels simply cannot deliver it fast enough. The heart is practically starving for oxygen exactly at the moment when it is working its hardest. This is the precise split second when a vulnerable plaque inside an artery can rupture under the sheer brute force, forming a devastating clot that instantly suffocates the heart muscle. This is the silent morning threat that takes so many good people away from their families. I want you to visualize this clearly, because understanding the raw mechanics of your own body is the first real step to claiming back your power and your independence. Your arteries are living, dynamic tissue. Think of them as a high-quality rubber garden hose. When that hose is brand new, it is incredibly flexible and resilient. You can turn the water pressure all the way up, and the soft rubber simply expands to absorb the shock. It bends, it stretches, and the water flows smoothly and safely out the other end. But if you leave that exact same rubber hose outside in the harsh elements for 60 or 70 years, things change. It bakes in the summer sun, it freezes in the harsh winter, and over time, the material undergoes a fundamental physical transformation. The rubber becomes brittle, it becomes stiff and uncompromising. It completely loses its ability to stretch and adapt to sudden changes. Now, imagine suddenly turning the water faucet onto maximum blast in a fraction of a second. That sudden, violent surge of pressure hits the brittle, unyielding walls of the hose. Because the hose can no longer expand to absorb the sheer force of the rushing water, the pressure builds up exponentially in a matter of milliseconds. Weak spots begin to bulge under the strain. Microscopic cracks appear in the lining. And if the pressure is intense enough, the hose will catastrophically rupture. This is precisely what is happening inside your delicate cardiovascular system when you abruptly transition from deep sleep to a standing position without properly preparing your biology for the shock. The scientific literature confirms this devastating reality time and time again. A major comprehensive study published in leading cardiovascular journals, analyzing thousands upon thousands of patient records, revealed a terrifying and undeniable statistic. The absolute highest concentration of sudden cardiac arrests, heart attacks, and catastrophic strokes occurs precisely between the hours of 6 in the morning and noon. The researchers isolated the exact mechanism. It was not necessarily what the patients ate for dinner the night before, and it was not a lack of medication. It was the massive, unmanaged, violent surge in morning blood pressure and sympathetic nervous system activation upon waking. The sudden physiological shock of waking up and moving too quickly was the exact trigger pulling the trigger. The traditional medical establishment knows this clinical data exists. They fully understand the dangerous mechanics of the morning blood pressure surge. Yet, they simply hand you a prescription for a pill that you are supposed to take with your breakfast, completely ignoring the undeniable fact that the most dangerous biological window of your entire day occurs the exact moment your feet touch the floor, long before that pill ever reaches your stomach. They are missing the most critical intervention point of your entire day. But you are not going to be a victim of this oversight anymore, because there is a beautifully simple, scientifically proven biological override that neutralizes this morning threat completely. It requires zero medication, it costs absolutely nothing, and it takes exactly 3 minutes of your time while you are still lying safely on your mattress. I am going to walk you through exactly how to do it right now. Here is the exact biological override protocol, the simple morning routine that takes absolutely no money and just 3 minutes of your time, but could literally be the difference between maintaining your independence and waking up in an emergency room. I call this the morning vascular reset. We are going to intentionally guide your nervous system out of deep sleep and gently prepare your heart for the demands of gravity, rather than shocking it into a state of panic. Step number 1 begins before you even close your eyes at night. You must place a tall glass of room temperature water directly on your nightstand. When you wake up, before you throw off the covers, before you even sit up, you reach over and slowly drink at least half of that water while still lying flat on your back. Remember the thick, sluggish, dehydrated blood we talked about in the early hours? By introducing water into your system while you are still completely horizontal, you are immediately thinning out the viscosity of your blood. You are giving your circulatory system the raw volume it desperately needs to function smoothly. Your heart will not have to work nearly as hard to pump a fluid that is adequately hydrated. This single, incredibly simple action significantly reduces the mechanical strain on your arterial walls before you even demand them to work against gravity. Step number 2 is what I call the 60-second autonomic override, relying on a specific breathing technique. Your brain is currently flooding your system with morning cortisol, preparing for a potential drop in pressure. We need to actively signal to your central nervous system that you are safe, calm, and in total control. While still lying on your back after drinking your water, place one hand flat on your stomach and the other hand over your heart. You are going to perform a highly targeted mechanical action. Inhale deeply through your nose for a slow count of 4, feeling your stomach rise against your hand. Hold that breath for just 2 seconds. Then, exhale slowly and completely through your mouth for a count of 6. You are going to repeat this exact breathing cycle 5 times. This takes exactly 1 minute. This specific ratio of exhaling longer than you inhale mechanically stimulates your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the master control switch for your parasympathetic nervous system, the network responsible for resting, digesting, and healing. By activating it, you are chemically neutralizing the sudden spike in adrenaline. You are literally commanding your heart rate to stay steady and keeping your blood pressure from rocketing upward. You are telling your blood vessels to remain relaxed and dilated, rather than constricting in morning panic. Step number 3 involves waking up your peripheral circulation without taxing the heart. You are still lying down. Now simply point your toes firmly away from you and then flex them back towards your shins. Do this 10 times. Next, gently squeeze your hands into tight fists. Hold for 3 seconds and release. Do this 5 times. This might seem trivial, but the biology behind it is profoundly important. Your calf muscles and your forearms act as secondary, independent pumps for your cardiovascular system. By gently engaging these specific muscles while you are still horizontal, you are actively pushing pooled, stagnant blood from your extremities back toward your core and your heart. You are essentially priming the pump. You are ensuring that when you do finally stand up, your heart has an adequate reservoir of blood to work with, completely preventing that terrifying sudden drop in blood pressure that triggers the violent adrenaline surge we want to avoid. Finally, step number 4 is the physical transition. You do not just jump out of bed. You roll slowly onto your right side, which structurally places less immediate physical weight and pressure on your heart muscle. You use your arms to gently push yourself up into a seated position on the edge of the mattress. And here is the most crucial part of this step. You sit there, with your feet planted firmly on the floor, for 1 full minute. You do not reach for your glasses. You do not check your phone. You simply sit and breathe normally. This 60-second pause allows your baroreceptors, the tiny pressure sensors located in your neck and chest, to fully calibrate to the new upright posture. It gives your body the precious time it needs to gently adjust vascular tone and stabilize your blood pressure in a controlled, completely safe environment. When you combine these 4 steps, the prehydration, the vagal nerve stimulation, the muscular priming, and the postural pause, you are completely disarming the morning cardiovascular threat. You are supporting your biology naturally, effectively bypassing the mechanical shock that damages so many aging hearts on a daily basis. This is the kind of preventative root cause physiological education that the traditional healthcare system simply does not have the time to teach you during a rushed 7-minute appointment. They are far too busy writing prescriptions for the symptoms to explain how to manage your body naturally and avoid the devastating consequences of vascular shock in the first place. By implementing this simple morning routine, you are doing far more than just protecting your delicate heart muscle. You are actively preserving your freedom. The greatest fear I hear from my patients over 60 is not necessarily death itself. It is the profound, terrifying fear of losing their independence. It is the absolute dread of suffering a sudden cardiovascular event that leaves them permanently bedridden or forces them to leave their cherished home and end up in a nursing home facility. You have the absolute right to advocate for yourself. You have the right to understand how your body actually works on a mechanical level so you can take the reins of your own health. This 3-minute routine is your daily armor. It is a powerful, science-backed tool to reverse the daily damage, support your natural healing, and keep you completely in charge of your own life. Write this protocol down, put it on your nightstand tonight, and start using it tomorrow morning. Now, I need to be perfectly clear with you before we wrap up today. I am a doctor, but I am not your personal doctor. The information I share in these videos is meant for general educational purposes and to give you the knowledge you fundamentally deserve. Please write this protocol down and take it with you to your next appointment. Ask your physician if the medications you are currently taking are still completely necessary, or if there is room to safely lower the dosages as you adopt healthier daily habits. Never simply stop taking your prescribed pills on your own. Use this knowledge to advocate for yourself and have a much better, deeply informed conversation with your healthcare team. I need a profound favor from you, and it has absolutely nothing to do with a computer algorithm. I need you to think about one specific person in your life right now who is over the age of 60. It could be your husband, your wife, your older brother, or a dear friend you have known for decades. I want you to send them this exact video right now. You are not just sharing another internet clip. You are handing them a practical, biological tool that could prevent their next morning from turning into a sudden medical emergency. You are giving them back the physiological control that a rushed medical system has slowly stripped away. If this message resonated with your spirit, if you are finally ready to stop being treated like just another chart in a crowded waiting room, then hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We are building a fiercely powerful community here. A community of individuals who refuse to spend their golden years trapped in a hospital bed or a nursing home. We choose vitality, and we choose truth. But your empowerment does not stop here today, because while managing your morning vascular shock is incredibly crucial, There is a highly common, everyday item you are likely keeping in your kitchen pantry right now that is silently stiffening your arterial walls with every single bite. You need to know exactly what it is and how to easily avoid it. Click the video popping up on your screen right now. I will expose exactly what this ingredient is and how removing it will dramatically support your natural healing. Click that video, and I will see you right over there.